Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Idaho House Republicans podcast, where you get to learn a little bit more about the representatives that you have sent to the State House. And today we're very grateful to have Representative Mike Pohanka. He represents Legislative District 26 in Seat A. He's a first termer. He's a freshman. And so welcome to the Idaho House Republicans podcast, Representative Mike Pohanka.
Yes, and a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And let me tell you a little bit about Mike. First of all, he's a native Idahoan, which is cool. He's a first generation U.S. citizen, which is awesome, born here and raised here. He graduated from Twin Falls High School. He went to the College of Southern Idaho for his associate's degree. He went to Lewis Clark State College for his bachelor's in management. And he went to City University for his master's in management. And he is retired from Idaho Power, and he is a retired professor of economics from the College of Southern Idaho as well. And most importantly, I think you're the chaplain of the Idaho State Police, the Jerome County Sheriffs, and the Jerome County City Police, which is a pretty cool job.
Thanks.
And you're the past president of the Jerome Chamber of Commerce. And thank you for joining us again.
My pleasure, and thank you for having me.
And I think I forgot the most important detail.
What's that?
You are married to Susan.
Yep.
48 years.
Yep.
You have
49.
2 children and 10 grandchildren.
Yes.
And you still have 10? Because some people
Still
don't
10.
update their bios.
Yeah,
And,
yep.
I'm off by the marriage years. I'm off by the, It's okay. We're accurate there.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit first about Legislative District 26.
Yep.
So Legislative District 26, tell us where it is and what the legislative district people care about policy-wise. What do they care about?
So District 26 consists of Jerome, Lincoln, and Blaine counties. So you have, as far as a good portion of Blaine County tourism, skiing, recreation, all of that. And then the farther you move south, so down towards Bellevue, Cary, into Lincoln County, Richfield, Dietrich, and then into Jerome County, Jerome, Eden, Hazleton, a lot of ag and farm communities. And so some of the issues there, big issues, I would say, is water, making sure that there's plenty of it for farming, ag, recreation, snow, skiing. And then some other issues, transportation, making sure we get even flow of traffic throughout our communities, whether it's up north, they're redoing some roads up there, highways up there, but better smoothly moving the traffic through.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say cost of living,
right,
as far as housing, is a huge issue. And what can we do? Working with some small communities similar to Cary, as far as having some waste treatment issues, it sounds like hopefully we're getting close to mitigating those to where they will be able to expand city lots or have more housing available in that community, which is like a bedroom community of Ketchum Sun Valley.
And so generally, how many schools? It's a fairly large geographic district. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it takes, my wife and I will we'll go to all the civic communities, whether senior centers, but it is a pretty vast community, or I should say district.
So let's talk about, you're a freshman, first termer. So a lot of times I like to ask the people who are in their first term, what inspired them to run for the State House? What was the impetus? Why did you do it?
I guess it goes back quite a few years. I would say, one, it's always been in my heart to serve, try to make things better than what I found it. But I remember government class back, Mr. Pefferly in high school, senior year. And he said, I want you guys to write a bill. So my friend, Dave Nilsson, his neighbor was Noe Brackett, state representative up here. So we talked to Noe. He says, why don't you come up here? So Dave, Brian, and myself came up and watched for a couple of days how it all works, how the sausage is made.
Right.
And then went back and we wrote up our bills. We also gave to our class a quick view of what we did up here. But that's kind of what got me inspired to maybe think
that planted the seed.
That planted the seed, exactly. And it's always been in my heart to serve, try to make things better around me, and whatever I can do for the communities. And that's why I was always so engaged in the communities, whether it was coaching Little League baseball, football, Rotary Club, Chamber of Commerce, multitude of different projects. And what can we do to help the communities? And that's always been in my heart, and I don't think it'll ever go away.
By the way, if you go on the Idaho legislature page, you can actually look up all the members. And one nice thing they have is they have their biographies. And one of the things I thought was different about yours is you actually had a quote on volunteerism. You remember the quote?
I do. Volunteerism is the rent you pay for the space you occupy on this earth. So real quick, this went back to when we got years ago transferred into the community of Jerome. And met a great gentleman by the name of Leroy Craig. And the Craig family has always given back to the community. So I was down having coffee with him at the coffee shop. And he says, Mike, volunteerism is the rent you pay for the space you occupy on this earth. And so I thought, I asked him, could you say it one more time? And so he told me one more time, and it was drilled into my head. And after that, just once again, reinstilled into me just to continue to give back.
Right. If you look at your background, it's clear, tell me why you decided to take on the chaplaincy of the state police and the Jerome County Sheriff and the Jerome City Police.
Absolutely. So as far as wanting to be years ago, the Idaho State Police used to have a reserve program. So they'd have reserve troopers. And every time a new captain would come in, I would try to talk to him, bring back the reserve program, reserve program, because law enforcement's always been in my heart as well. And they kept telling me, we'd like to have you as a chaplain. We'd like to have you as a chaplain. And so I thought, well, okay. So filled out a 24-page, I think it was about a 20-page application. It was a pretty thick application. Wow. And so all through that, they do the fingerprinting, do intensive background, fingerprinting, FBI check, personal banking, etc.
Wow.
Which took about, I would say, 8-9 months.
Just to be the chaplain.
Because you're dealing with confidential.
No, I understand, right.
And so, and you have to be ecclesiastically ordained. So I'm ecclesiastically ordained as a deacon and an elder in the Presbyterian Church. So you have to be ecclesiastically ordained. And then went through about 40 hours of training with them on how to deliver a death notification to a family member.
Oh, wow.
So I may get called out. I've been called out to suicides, car crashes, whatever, and assist the officers. The officers usually will talk about the incident. I'll be the one that lets the family first know they've lost a loved one, and then the officer will talk about what happened.
That's tough stuff.
It is. Yeah, not easy.
Well, thank you for your volunteerism on that.
Thank you, sir.
You wanted to talk a little bit about your being a first generation American.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, boy. I tell you what, every time I think about it, I get just chills. My dad escaped a communist country in the late 1940s.
And what country was that?
Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
It was when the Russians took over. And so him and his sister and his brother-in-law didn't tell anyone else in the family what they were about to do. And so they would escape at night, because if they would have been caught, either executed or thrown in a concentration camp. And unfortunately, his brother was put into a concentration camp.
Oh, my.
But my dad met my mom in Germany, immigrated here into the U.S. My dad finished his master's degree in Penn State in plant genetics. Long story short, they transferred him to Bozeman, Montana, to Gallatin Valley Seed Company. He developed beans. Then they transferred him to the big metropolis of Filer, Idaho. And that's where the roots came down, is that they settled in Twin and been forever there. So my dad risked his life to give me freedom, and I will never, never forget
Amen.
that. My dad loves his country. He said the best country in the world, and has always been a strong Republican. And that's been just in me my entire life.
It is interesting that people that come from other countries have a deeper appreciation for our country than people that have lived here in several cases. And that's sad, but it's true.
It is true.
So let's talk a little bit about the committees on which you serve.
Yes, sir.
Which committees do you serve?
I serve on state affairs. I serve on judiciary and rules, and also transportation. And all of those committees, I tell you what, they're all lively committees, engaged.
They are.
Yeah. Engaged committees, and I love every minute of it. And so
yeah, you got a trifecta there. Those are great committees to
they
be
are.
on.
I don't know, as a freshman.
A lot of fun stuff.
Yes, as a freshman, how I managed to get them, but I am lucky to have them.
Hey, let's turn to a few of the legislative bills that you are either directly involved in or ones that are of interest to you. So let's start with House Bill 570, and it deals with the topic of reckless driving. Talk about why this is your bill.
Yes, sir.
Why did you bring this bill, and tell people? I believe it's passed through the Judiciary and Rules Committee and it's waiting to go to the floor. But
yes, sir.
Tell people about that bill.
Absolutely. So we have multiple construction areas throughout the entire state. So in our Magic Valley area, in the Jerome area between milepost 165 and 173, and that's a stretch between the Jerome exits and the Twin Falls exits.
Okay.
And we've had multiple crashes, a couple of deaths, and then a little farther east, we've had a employee of a construction company was hit and killed.
Oh my.
And so I had constituents come up to me and ask, what can we do about it? We need to do something to control the speeds in these construction zones. So, firefighters, constituents, everyone goes, we got to figure something out to slow people down. So I was able to get with prosecuting attorneys and saying, what can we do? And they says, well, you know what? How about if we post in an active construction zone where construction workers are visible, that if they are going 20 miles per hour over the posted speed limit, so if it's 65 and they're doing 85 in that construction zone, it gives that officer the opportunity to cite that individual as a reckless. So what I'm trying to do is protect the construction workers and the motoring public as they go through these construction zones. And it's been an issue statewide. And so I'm hoping we make it through the House. We've made some minor adjustments with the help of my fellow colleagues on the committee in Jude Rules. And so I think that hopefully the House says it's a great bill and it moves over to the Senate. The Senate agrees and the governor signs it. So hopefully.
And the bill also addresses school zones?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I forgot to address that. As far as the school zones, same scenario there. When it's an active and the students are visible, it gives that officer the opportunity once again to cite as reckless. And on testimony, what was interesting in the House when we had it in Jude Rules, we had a principal there at Caldwell High School talked about 3 students that were hit in crosswalks and causing serious debilitating damage to them. These students, some of them, one was a track star, unfortunately won't be able to participate in track this summer. So she was all in support of it. The construction companies are all in support of it. So
well, good. And then the nice thing, I think one thing you pointed out is that one of the roles of committees take on is that they'll look at a bill like you when it's RS, routing slip, and they'll say, hey, we see the issue in this bill and we'd like you to think about this, and then you can go back and get it right, bring it in, then it gets through your committee.
Yep.
And that's how it works. They're very collaborative. I believe that committee is Chairman Scogg's committee.
Yes.
And that's what they kind of do. They kind of work through the legislation live so that when it comes out, it's the best bill it can be.
Exactly.
I appreciate that. Let's talk about House Bill 521, which is also your bill, and it talks about fingerprinting.
Yep.
So you want to amend section 67-008. And what do you want to do?
So what we had to do, we passed that last year, and that is fingerprinting. So if you have an individual that volunteers for the Boys and Girls Club, I want to make sure that our vulnerable population, whether it's children, elderly, or handicapped, that whoever is going to be working with those individuals, that they have had a background check, a fingerprint, and just to protect those. So last year it was put under that section. The FBI came back to the state police, said it is under the wrong section and under the wrong umbrella. So what we've done is just moved it down and created, I think it was 67-3008A. So we just moved it down to the proper section, and it's made it through the House. Now it's headed over to the Senate.
And it was a 69-0 vote in the House. So
yes, sir.
That's usually a pretty good indication that it's going to do pretty
indication.
Well. So thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
Let's talk about House Bill 686. It's one being brought by Josh Wheeler, and it talks about exemptions and existing restrictions of appointment and employment of, I guess, people that are related to each other, local officials, in smaller towns.
Correct.
Talk about that bill. What does it do, and what problem is it solving? Because obviously there's been a problem.
So the bill, so I have a lot of small communities. I have Eden, Hazleton, you have Shoshone, Richfield, Dietrich, Cary, Bellevue, Jerome. If there's a job, they can usually pull people out of Twin Falls, wherever. But what's interesting is you're not going to get a lot of people to maybe apply for, let's say, for the city of Shoshone or Richfield, and let's say it's for a maintenance to run a backhoe. And it's hard to get someone to go to those areas or to apply for jobs for those areas.
Okay.
So let's say you have a city councilman and has a nephew that has all certifications in knowing how to run a backhoe. He would have to go through the same interview process, or she would have to go through the same interview process. And if they have the proper certifications, then it gives that city the opportunity to be able to hire that individual. They're given no extra special treatment there as far as raises or anything like that. They would be under a different supervisor, so they're not going to be directly reporting to that council person or the mayor, whoever. It's whoever may be superintendent of streets.
So is there a concern that there's so as of right now, that's not permitted because there's a worry about nepotism, essentially?
Correct.
So talk about, have you had these real life situations where someone would be appropriate for a job excluded because of this law?
Correct. As far as I know, there are several communities who have had problems finding people. But the way the bill is written, any of that as far as raises, the way the person is evaluated, comes from
just like anybody else.
Anybody else. Yes, sir.
And I believe that your bill has a cutoff on the size of the city to which this is applicable. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And what is the size?
I forgot that population-wise.
I have heard that it's under 10,000.
110?
No, 10,000.
10,000, yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So the idea of, obviously, you're playing the odds like a Boise has 400,000 people.
Right.
You're probably going to find somebody to fill a role. In a smaller town, it could be very difficult.
Yeah. And like I had mentioned, Dietrich, Eden, Hazleton, Cary, Shoshone, all those are far less than 10,000.
Smaller homes.
Oh, yeah. They're small communities.
Small communities. Well, thank you for running that. And then let's talk about another bill that you wanted to talk about, which I think came through Judicial and Rules, is a House Bill 556, and it deals with jails.
Yes.
And the amount of money that counties get. Talk about that bill and what it does.
So when a person goes through the system and all of a sudden they are sentenced by the state, now they become a prisoner of the state.
Okay.
And so the counties, where there's no room at some of the state prisons, the counties may hold those inmates or those prisoners, state prisoners, for an amount of time. Well, currently, I think for the first, if I recall, the first 10 days, they get $55, and then it jumps up to $75. So what's happening there is a bill's come forth. It passed the House, and it bumps it up to $80 a day. So
from the day one,
from day one, it jumps it up to $80 a day. Well, a lot of the current, my Blaine County, I have the numbers here. I think they're paying the citizens of Blaine County are paying $126.82.
So that's the actual cost of housing a state inmate in Blaine County's jail is $126.
Correct.
And they're only getting $55 for the first 10 days, $75 a day after that. So essentially that delta of what the state is not paying is being picked up by the local county taxpayers.
Exactly.
That's the point.
That's the issue. And so there's Ada County, I think they're having $126, and Idaho County pays $253. Wow. So everything has fallen on the role of the county taxpayers on their property taxes. And to me, that isn't right. The state should be picking up those numbers. And I hate building more prisons, but we need to figure out ways to lower the costs for property. This is a perfect way to be able to lower the property taxes for some of that.
And what'll be interesting is that, obviously it's a state obligation. The county taxpayers are paying the differential.
Correct.
which is upsetting to the county residents who have jails. The other side of this issue, of course, is that we're in a situation where the budget is being cut across the board, and this would actually add about $3 million or so of
Correct.
incremental burden to the state budget. So we're going to see like all these things are going to kind of bash together, and we'll see how this comes out. But obviously it's trying to rectify a situation where the county taxpayers are taking on an undue burden of the state.
Right.
So continue to watch this one, sports fans. Where is it right now? Do you know where it is in terms
it
of?
passed the House and is headed over to the Senate.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it was in the Juden rules on the Senate side.
On the Senate side.
Yes, sir.
So we'll continue to watch that bill. That is House Bill 556. So, well, anyway, Representative Pohanka, it's just been a wonderful time to spend a little time with you. And we just thank you for coming on the Idaho House Republicans podcast. And just a reminder, we've been speaking with Representative Mike Pohanka. He represents District 26 in Seat A, and he's in his first term, but he's having an impact as a freshman.
Yep.
And we just thank you for all of the service, the volunteerism. Tell everyone one more time that motto so that they can remember that. It takes me more twice to remember something. So
volunteerism is the rent you pay for the space you occupy on this earth.
There you have it. So make sure you go and volunteer for something. And again, we thank you, Representative Mike Pohanka, for joining us on the Idaho House Republicans podcast. And as we always say before we sign off, God bless the great state of Idaho. And thank you again, Representative Mike Pohanka.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Sunrise on the Snake River plain, red, white, and blue in the window pane. Work boots dusty from yesterday, but we're back at it the Idaho way.